Hello everyone. Today we are taking a look at message queues, the communication mechanism that lets different parts of a system send and receive messages asynchronously. Let's dive right in. First, as always, we answer the what question. So, what is message queues? A message queue acts like a buffer between software components, enabling them to communicate without needing to interact directly. We have producers, which will send messages into the queues, and we have the queue stores these messages until they are ready to be processed, and we have the consumers or workers, which will pull the messages from the queue when they are able to handle them. This approach decouples the producing and consuming components, allowing asynchronous communication. But what is the asynchronous communication? What is this? When communication is asynchronous, producers can send messages and move on to other tasks without waiting for consumers to finish. This helps improve overall system throughput because producers aren't tied up waiting on consumers, and consumers can work at their own pace. Okay, let's try to understand how does this work. The producers receive a task or data that needs to be processed. It will create a message describing the task and the data, and it will publishes this message to the message queues. The message queue will store the message in FIFO, that means first in, first out, or priority based manner, depending on the setup, and it will persist the messages until the consumer is ready to retrieve them. The consumer here listen or check the queue for new messages, pulls a message of the queue, process the message, and maybe like generating a report, sending an email, or updating a database. Acknowledged the completion so the queue can remove the message. Okay. Um. So, what are the benefits of this setup? What are the benefits of using manage message queues? Benefits. It's pretty hard to talk and write in the same time. The first thing, we will have scalability because need more processing power just to spin around up additional consumers to handle the load. Number two, reliability, because if a consumer goes down, messages remain in the queue until another consumer can pick them up. Number three, decoupling. Producers and consumers don't need to be aware of each other's internal working of or availability. Number four, load balancing. Messages are distributed among consumers, preventing any single instance from being overloaded. Um, there are some real world examples, if I guess it will make sense to talk about them. Real world examples. So in your system design interview, if you're designing a system like that, make sure that you are using message queues. If you're designing an order processing in e-commerce system, if you're designing any task scheduling for background jobs, if you're designing log aggregation for data analysis, if you are working with microservices communication in distributed architecture, you will use a lot of message queues. Okay, so I guess we could talk about some best practices that your interviewer may ask you about. Oh no. Number one, message acknowledgements. Like ensure consumers acknowledged when they are successfully processed a message so the queue can remove it. Number two, retry or dead letter queues, like set up retry policies or failed messages and handle them in dead letter queues if needed. Number three, monitoring and metrics, like track your queue length, consumer throughput, and error rates to detect issues early. Number four, security, like use encryption in transit and authentication mechanisms to protect your data and prevent unauthorized access. So, if we want to wrap everything up now, we could say, yeah, that's it. Message queues, they are the key to asynchronous, scalable, and reliable communication in modern systems. By decoupling producers and consumers, message queues make it easy and easier to handle sudden spikes in traffic and keep your application responsive. Thanks for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe and like and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss any video, and see you in future videos.